And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, January the 29th, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the new press secretary, the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. She gave her first briefing to the media. It was a packed room, lots of reporters. She actually announced that the Trump White House will now be taking applications for independent media to be able to attend the White House press briefings. This includes influencers and bloggers and podcasts. Very, very cool. But she also said that the drone incident that was happening in the East Coast, and then it kind of spread all around the United States, all those drones in the air, flying around, spying, aliens picking up information, Iran launching drones from a mothership. Remember all of that? Well, she said that it was all BS. It was all BS, man. It was the Biden White House with FAA permission and coordination flying drones in the East Coast of the US, and then other people started to fly their drones, and the whole thing just kind of blew up. It was a distraction. That's the way I took it as she was explaining things. The Biden White House, it seems like they wanted to send up some drones in order to create a media buzz, in order to distract away from something. I don't remember. What was the hot story at the time? What was making news that the Biden White House wanted to distract away from? I forgot, but yeah, that's the explanation for all of those drones. The alien drones launched from a mothership from Iran. Whatever, man. Whatever, bro. Anyway, Bidenopolis, man. What a sneaky White House that was. So Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of Defense, it looks like he is going to be pulling Milley's security detail and clearance immediately. Milley may also be demoted in his retirement. Mark Milley, the man who gave us Russia's going to capture Kiev in 72 hours, or Russia's going to take Kiev in 3 days. Mark Milley. A narrative that continues to be repeated even to this day. That's how powerful of a narrative that was from Mark Milley. Russia's going to capture Kiev in 3 days with 40,000 troops. It's going to capture a city of 3 million people, which is impossible, and reckless and crazy. But, you know, according to Milley, that's the Russian military. They just make these really, really strange, weird decisions, like trying to capture a huge city with 40,000 soldiers. Mark Milley. So let's talk about Putin and his interview with his favorite journalist, Zarubin, another interview that Putin gave. He gave an interview to Zarubin just 3-4 days ago. And here he is again speaking to his number one reporter. And once again, the topic was Alinsky, negotiations with Trump, and what did Putin say? Well, Putin said that the war can end in about a month to 2 months if the collective West stops supplying weapons to the Alinsky regime. And he also said that he is ready for talks and negotiations, even with Ukraine, but with Alinsky, you can't really have negotiations or talks because Alinsky is illegitimate according to Russia and according to the Ukraine constitution and Ukrainian law. So there's really no purpose to having talks with Alinsky. Of course, Putin said that, if Alinsky wants to talk as the illegitimate leader of Ukraine, if he wants to talk, we can send a delegation to talk to him, but whatever he says or whatever he signs is pretty much meaningless. Actually, Putin said something very interesting. He said that one thing that Ukraine can do to show that they're serious about negotiations is to remove the restriction of speaking to Russia, of banning any negotiations with Russia. They could remove this, and that would show that they're serious. The problem that Ukraine has, according to Putin, is that Alinsky can't remove this because he's not the legitimate president to do such things. So this would have to come from the parliament. And if the parliament does remove this restriction, you run into the next problem, which is who's going to negotiate with Russia? Who's going to sign documents? Who's going to do all of this? Because you don't really have a legitimate president in place because the elections were canceled. Very interesting statement from the Russian president. Ukraine conflict could end in weeks, according to Putin. Alinsky is dependent on Western life support, the Russian president has said. Speaking to reporter Pavel Zarubin on Tuesday, Putin was asked about the possibility of a negotiated end to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. They can't exist without their Western sponsors. They won't last a month if the money and ammunition run out, Putin told Zarubin. Everything can be over in a month and a half to 2 months. Ukraine practically has no sovereignty in that sense, the Russian president added. According to Putin, if Kiev's Western backers truly want peace, this is very easy to do, adding that Moscow has already spelled out its terms very clearly. Kiev can signal its willingness to talk by canceling the decree banning all negotiations with Russia, Putin said. He explained that without such a step, any proposed negotiations would be as illegitimate as Alinsky, whose presidential mandate expired last spring. According to Putin, if Kiev's Western backers truly want peace, this is very easy to do, adding that Moscow has already spelled out its terms very clearly. Sounds to me that as if Putin is saying we are sticking to what we said in June during his speech at the foreign ministry, and what he said over and over again, and what Lavrov has said over and over again, and Medvedev, all of the top Kremlin officials, they are sticking to their negotiating position. Istanbul plus. We've talked about it many times. Putin is signaling to the United States, to the Trump administration. Just go back to my June speech at the foreign ministry and you'll find out exactly how I am going to start with negotiations, my starting point for negotiations. It's all spelled out. So an interesting statement from the Russian president. He also said it's possible to negotiate with anyone. However, due to his illegitimacy, Alinsky has no right to sign anything. If he wishes to participate in talks, I will deploy people who will conduct such negotiations, Putin said. He stressed that signing any deal would be a very serious question, and the agreement must guarantee the security of both Ukraine and Russia for a serious period of time. Any potential peace agreement must be flawless from the legal standpoint, Putin emphasized, adding that the authority and legitimacy of Kiev's negotiating team would be subjected to intense scrutiny and assessed by a whole team of legal experts. Very simple. It's a very simple statement from Putin. Anything that Alinsky agrees to, anything that he signs, means nothing. He's illegitimate, so it absolutely means nothing. We need to get someone who's legitimate in place. But you also have a little bit of Putin trolling, and Putin is a really good troll. When he says, you know, if Alinsky wants to talk to someone and negotiate with someone, I'll send a team so they can talk and negotiate with him. But it's all make-believe. It's all pretend, right? Alinsky wants to negotiate? Sure, I'll send some people there to sit down with him and negotiate, and they can make believe that they're negotiating. Oh, man, Putin. He's serious. He's very serious, and he comes up with very serious points and very smart points, but he also throws in a little bit of trolling as well. And he's a good troll. He's good at trolling. Oh, boy. All right. So what was Alinsky's response? What did the Green Goblin have to say after Putin's statement? Well, he posted on X a rather long response on X. I'll just read you the first paragraph. Today, Putin once again confirmed that he is afraid of negotiations, afraid of strong leaders, and does everything possible to prolong the war. Every move he makes and all his cynical tricks are aimed at making the war endless. As I was reading this post, I was thinking he's going to say, every move he makes, every breath he takes, I'll be watching you. Every breath he takes, every move he makes, I'll be watching you. Yeah, so according to Alinsky, Putin is afraid of strong leaders like the Green Goblin. Podolyak, I am strong leader, yes? Yes, Mr. President, you are the strongest leader. Yes, I know, Podolyak. I do push-ups every day. Podolyak, feel my bicep. Feel my bicep. It is very strong. Your bicep, Mr. President? You mean your bicep? Yes, my bicep. Come on, Podolyak. Just touch it. Squeeze it. Feel how strong it is. Mr. President, I prefer not to. Come on, Podolyak. I'm strong, man. A strong leader. Touch it, Podolyak. Just touch it a little bit. Alinsky. We are getting reports, I believe, from Ukraine media. I cannot confirm this 100%. These may be rumors. This may be Russian disinformation or Ukraine disinformation. The pigeons are watching on. What am I going to say? Pigeons. What's the next news topic? What's the breaking news? The pigeons, they want to know. They want to know. Well, pigeons, the news is, and I can't confirm this, pigeons, but the news is that the defense minister of Ukraine, Umerov, he is under investigation. That's right. Abuse of power. Abuse of power. Yeah. This all has to do with the Trump White House announcing the audits into all the spending and the cutting off of aid and all of this stuff. And Doge and Musk. Yep. They want to see, where did all the money go? So it's time to create some scapegoats. The Alinsky regime needs to throw some people under the bus. The 100 billion that you gave me, Mr. Trump, that the United States gave me, this guy took it. He took it. This Umerov guy, he's a bad man, very bad man. Oh boy, I can't confirm this news. I just want to say that again. These are reports that we're getting. This may be Russian disinformation. This may be Ukraine disinformation. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see if these reports are true. Fico, the leader of Slovakia, he called Alinsky the enemy. He said Alinsky is our enemy. And he basically issued an ultimatum to Alinsky. Either the energy starts transiting Ukraine to Slovakia, or else we will never vote to give you money. When the EU wants to give you money, we will always vote against it. Here is what Fico said. Our enemy is Alinsky. Alinsky caused the problems we have. I don't like him because he harms Slovakia, Fico said, as reported by local media. The prime minister dismissed a proposal from Alinsky over the weekend, suggesting that Kiev could transit gas from Azerbaijan to the EU. Fico accused Alinsky of making empty promises, claiming the proposal lacked any concrete plan and nothing is ready. There's no project on the table. Alinsky is blowing bubbles again because he thinks this bubble will free him from making tough decisions. What was I saying about Azerbaijan and the pipeline from Azerbaijan through Ukraine to Europe? That it's not going to happen because of a small little problem, and that is geography. Geography, that's right. Ukraine does not share a border with Azerbaijan, and if they want that gas to transit via Ukraine, well, then it would have to go either through Russia or it would have to go under the Black Sea and up into Ukraine. Never going to happen. So Fico is calling him out on these lies that he was saying about gas transit from Azerbaijan through Ukraine to Slovakia as some sort of possible solution between Ukraine and Slovakia. So Alinsky, he may be able to fool Ursula and Annalena and Robert Habeck. Doesn't take much to fool them, but he's not going to fool Fico. So Axios put out a story yesterday, a scoop. Axios loves to publish scoops. And this scoop has the title, U.S. sending dozens of Patriot missiles from Israel to Ukraine. The U.S. military transferred around 90 Patriot air defense interceptors from storage in Israel to Poland this week in order to deliver them to Ukraine. 3 sources with knowledge of the operation tell Axios. Between the lines, a senior Israeli official told me Israeli informed Russia in advance of the move and stressed it was only returning the Patriot system to the U.S. and not supplying weapons to Ukraine. So a lot of people are talking about this story, saying that Israel is now supplying weapons to Ukraine and Trump is now supplying weapons to Ukraine via Israel. From what I understand, these missiles, these interceptors, these are U.S. missiles, interceptors. The Patriot system is actually a decommissioned 30-year-old Patriot system that was in storage in Israel. Israel's not even using it. I read that this is U.S. property. It's being returned to the United States. It's going to probably go to Poland and then go to Ukraine. This is a big nothing burger. Netanyahu, his administration, even contacted Putin and his administration, and they notified him of this, and they notified Russia of this, and this is no big deal, this story. And we're talking about 90 interceptors. I'm exaggerating a bit now, but 90 interceptors, 90 missiles is going to last Ukraine a day or two, right? Send 30, 40, 50 drones and those 90 interceptors are gone. That's my take on it. But a lot of people are talking about this story. I don't know. I think Axios is trying to stir up some controversy and some trouble with this scoop. But let's move on. Let's move on to OPEC. We have a lot of news to get to today. OPEC ministers, they had a meeting. This is, I believe, the first meeting since Trump's various statements, since Trump's inauguration and his multiple statements where he said that he's going to get Russia to the negotiating table by telling Saudi Arabia to flood the market with oil and to crash the price of oil, and this would destroy Russia's war machine, and that's how he's going to pressure Russia to negotiations. So we get an OPEC meeting, and what does OPEC say? The OPEC ministers, including Saudi Arabia, they said that they're not going to change any oil price or any plans with regard to oil and oil prices. Saudi, other OPEC Plus ministers meet after Trump calls for lower oil price. OPEC Plus also includes Russia. They're not going to change anything. They've got a plan. They control the flow and the price and the production of oil, and they're not going to let anyone, including Trump, tell them how to go about their business. So there goes Trump's plan of crashing the oil price to damage Putin's war machine. Kellogg also said the same thing. We need to crash oil in order to damage Putin's war machine. That's right. Meloni. Let's talk about Giorgia Meloni. She is under attack. She's under attack because she is starting to drift away from Ursula and the EU globalists. She is trying to align Italy with the Trump White House and with Elon Musk because she likes Elon Musk. But anyway, that's a different video. That's a different video. But yeah. She is starting to drift towards the Trump White House. And all of a sudden, we have embezzlement charges, which are coming up against Meloni. And she is about to be under investigation for some sort of release of a Libyan warlord or something like that. I'm not so sure what happened there, but it looks like the powers in Brussels, they're very upset that Meloni is starting to drift away from their control. Embezzlement and freeing Limassol del Mar. Limassol del Mar. Embezzlement and freeing a Libyan warlord. Italy's Meloni under investigation for freeing wanted Libyan warlord. I can't be blackmailed. I can't be intimidated. A defiant PM Giorgia Meloni said. From Tom Lungo. So you think only Trump is persecuted. These people will not stop. They know Meloni has moved out of their orbit with Trump's return. He is responding to a post from First Squawk, which says Italy's Prime Minister Meloni under investigation for embezzlement. Yeah, spot on from Tom. Spot on. She's flirting with Musk, but she's flirting with leaving the orbit of the European Union, of Brussels, of Ursula, of Christine Lagarde. Can't have that. Cannot have that. So they are sending a message to Meloni. We've got tools. Remember when Ursula said that during the Italian elections? when the fear was that Meloni would win and Meloni would be going against Brussels, Ursula said, we've got tools, and it worked. As long as Biden was president of the United States, Meloni absolutely gave in to Ursula and to Brussels and to NATO and to the Biden White House. It absolutely worked. But now with the Trump administration, Meloni is saying, you know what? Better if I align with Trump than Ursula and Lagarde and the European Union. So we'll see what's going to happen there. Let's talk about Serbia. Big news from Serbia. I've talked about the protests that were taking place in Serbia over the past, I want to say over the past month, maybe even longer than that. The protests led by students, some in Belgrade and Novi Sad, because of the canopy that collapsed at a train station, killing 16 people. And there are some people, some analysts in Serbia who say that these protests are legit. There are other people who say these protests are being subverted, quietly sponsored by forces that want to see Vučić go, and they want to take over the government in Belgrade so that they can finally get Serbia into the orbit of the European Union and NATO. So I've talked about this at great length, actually, and I've presented both sides of the story. But we had protests the other day also in Belgrade and in Novi Sad. And it looks like we now have a big resignation, and that is the Prime Minister of Serbia, Milos Vučević, has resigned. Vučević has alleged that a color revolution backed by foreign intelligence services is underway in the country. He has resigned. I believe the mayor of Novi Sad, where this tragedy took place, also resigned. And I also believe that the Vučić government has pretty much released all of the information, or most of the information, as to what happened, everything that was going on with the investigation, the results of the investigation. We have resignations. I believe that Vučić has pretty much complied with all of the demands of the protesters. I think that has happened. I believe the only thing that Vučić has not done yet is that he has not announced immunity for the protesters, so that when all of this is over, if this resolves, then everyone that was protesting, they don't have to fear any type of charges or anything like that. I believe that's all that's left for Vučić to do. But things should calm down. They should calm down now. I don't know if they will, but they should be calming down. Now, as far as Vučić's position goes, he's got a strong position, from what I understand. He has, I believe, 49% of the parliament, and that's just his party, without his coalition. So any type of no confidence vote, he doesn't have to worry about anything like that. The West, the European Union, the West, what they would like to see happen is they would like to see Vučić resign, and then they would like to put in a type of caretaker government that's controlled by the West, so that they can then get Serbia on side. Because they know if there was going to be elections, even if Vučić was to call elections, or you were going to have snap elections or something like that, he still would win. Most likely he still would win. That's how it looks. So anyway, that's the situation in Serbia. We'll see if things calm down. If they don't calm down, then we'll see what Vučić does next. Can he call elections? I don't know. Can he call snap elections? Is that possible? If he can't call elections, will he? And what will happen? in those elections. I don't know if he can do this or if he will do this. Will there be a no confidence vote? I don't think he has to worry if there's some sort of no confidence vote or something like that. The only thing he has to worry about is that the pressure gets so high, it's so much pressure that they try to force him to step down. And that's when I think Serbia's in trouble, if that happens. And I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think that's Vučić. I don't think that's Vučić at all. But they would like him to step down, and they would like to get their guys in place. I don't even know who would take over, to be quite honest. I don't know who the West would want to replace Vučić. I don't know. I don't know the political scene in Serbia well enough. But I don't know of any politicians that are in opposition, like prominent politicians in opposition to Vučić, and prominent politicians that are aligned with the West, that are popular to take on Vučić. Anyway, that's the update on Serbia. By the way, there was a skate park. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was a skate park over there, and I don't know, what is this? Tennis courts here. Yeah, so these are public tennis courts. Not bad. Not the best of surfaces, but for public courts, not too bad. So, Rubio, as I said in my video update yesterday, I said that eventually Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, will eventually call Kaja Kallas. And sure enough, that's what happened yesterday. He finally called the EU's chief diplomat, Kaja Kallas. According to Politico, Trump's Secretary of State finally calls Europe back. After skipped meeting, Brussels and Washington are always stronger together, said Kaja Kallas after the conversation. He finally called. Even Politico is taking jabs at the EU and their title. He finally calls after skipping meetings and ignoring the European Union. After a week and a half of the Trump administration, they finally get in touch with the EU. Finally, they finally call Kaja Kallas, and she posted on X, "Good call with Secretary Rubio. We discussed global issues where the EU and US have the same interests, including Russia's war in Ukraine, Iran's malign influence, and challenges posed by China. The EU and US are always stronger together. Looking forward to meeting you soon." Yeah, the EU is 100% dependent on the US. The EU is a vassal of the United States. Please don't leave us, US. Please don't leave us. Anyway, my sources. Kaja Kallas was very happy, very happy. You can see in the photo that she posted on X that she was busy working. She's really busy working behind her desk as the new EU foreign minister. And my sources tell me in the European Union that Kaja Kallas was so happy that Rubio finally called, that she was skipping around the halls of EU Brussels HQ. Just really, really happy. He called everybody. He called. I'm so happy. Marco called. He called me. I'm so happy. Anyway, that finally happened. Let's do some clown worlds. And we will stay with Kallas. I'm actually walking to a coffee shop, which I know is down that way. So I'm just not wandering aimlessly around Limassol. I believe it's this way. Yes, it is this way. Yep. Yeah or no? Oh, no, I know it's this way and to the right. It's this way and to the right. Yeah. So we're going to stay with Kaja Kallas, and she's figured out a way to bring down the Putin government. She's figured out a way to deliver a big final blow to Russia and to the Russian military. That's right, she figured it out. Kaja Kallas figured it out. What is she going to do? What is the big plan from the European Union, from the EU's top chief, stunning and brave foreign minister? The plan is that Europe will ban the export of PlayStation and Xbox gaming consoles to Russia, which, according to the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Kaja Kallas, can allegedly be used to control drones. The restriction is expected to be included in the new package of sanctions against Russia, which the EU plans to approve on February 22nd. They want to approve these sanctions on the 22nd of February to coincide with the anniversary of the special military operation. Media optics, they're really concerned about the media and the optics of things. But yeah, that's it, man. PlayStation, Xbox consoles, which Russia uses to control drones, along with the shovels and the washing machine chips that power their tanks and their fighter jets. It's all over, man. It is all over for the Russian military. It's all over for Putin. It's all over for Russia. It's over. It's over. Game over, man. It's game over, man. Game over. I'm telling you, man. It's game over. Yeah, what a difference a foreign minister makes, huh? From Jungle Joseph Borrell, who really didn't accomplish much, to now Kaja Kallas, who is no match for anybody, actually. She's outsmarted Putin, she's outsmarted Lavrov, she's outsmarted Gerasimov, everybody, with this one move, the checkmate move, right? Checkmate. That's right. Oh, man. The interesting thing is that, from what I understand, Xbox consoles have been manufactured in multiple countries, including Mexico, Hungary, and China. Currently, China is the largest supplier to Russia, selling gaming consoles worth over $120 million per year. The figure in 2024 sharply increased from just under 30 million in 2022. So China is the number one supplier of consoles to Russia. Mexico also manufactures consoles, and Hungary. 3 countries that are friendly with Russia. I think Kaja Kallas is going to have difficulty trying to hurt Russia's war machine by blocking Xbox consoles to the Putin. I think Mexico is going to laugh. Mexico's going to laugh. China's going to laugh. Hungary's going to laugh. They probably are already laughing, to be quite honest. Anyway, that's the one. Clown world. What a clown world, huh? What a freaking clown world. Courtesy of Kaja Kallas. And Jim Acosta, CNN's Jim Acosta, he quit yesterday, live on air, he quit CNN. Jim Acosta did not get along with Trump. Jim Acosta, during Trump's first term, they did not get along at all. And the reports are that CNN wanted to move Acosta to the midnight time slot because his ratings were so bad and no one's watching him. And so CNN said, just go to the midnight time slot. And Acosta said, no, thank you. I prefer to quit. And so that's what he did. And finally, the final clown world is that France and Macron, they launched their AI. This is sad, man. This clown world is really sad. It's really, really sad, everybody. After DeepSeek and China shocked the world with their AI, which now Microsoft and OpenAI, they are claiming that China stole some stuff or did something that was unauthorized, and now they're trying to open up an investigation. Of course, they're trying to open up an investigation because obviously China could never, ever managed to create their own AI. They must have stolen it from Microsoft. Anyway, this is the clown world, the pathetic and sad clown world. The coffee shop is right over there, by the way. Nomad Coffee. Yeah, right over there. So Macron decided to launch Lucy AI. Macron tried to break into the AI race, but his chatbot was turned off. The chatbot was developed by the French company Linagora. It was supposed to challenge the dominance of the English language in the AI field and compete with ChatGPT, CNN writes. The project was supported by the Macron government. The chatbot was turned off for errors and lack of political correctness. Users shared screenshots of interactions with the AI, calling Lucy's answers absurd. The assistant does not solve simple math problems, claiming that cow's eggs exist, denies women's rights, and shares a detailed recipe for methamphetamine. Asked to multiply 5 by 3 plus 2, the model gave the answer 17 instead of 25. And Lucy also said that the square root of a goat is 1, the article says. The developers justified themselves by saying that the AI was in the experimental phase. All right. You know, I don't think it's in an experimental phase, actually. I just think that, the AI training, because, you have to train AIs, right? There's the training part, and then there's the reasoning, the inference is what they call it, the reasoning part. So I believe that the training part of Lucy, that they were just using Annalena Baerbock math. That's what they were doing, man. It wasn't that the math was off. It was 360 Annalena math. That's it, man. You just, it's how you train the AI. How you train it is going to give you the response that you're training it with. So, if you get trained by Annalena, you're going to get, crazy math answers. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update today. Duran sweatshirt. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.